Well, folks, I have just returned from the Thomas and Mack Center, where your Runnin' Rebels have fallen to the Montana Grizzlies, 103-92. That was an incredibly discouraging loss, one that I am really disappointed by in more ways than I can even tell you guys. But I'm going to try. Let's talk about it, guys. This is the Let's Run podcast. Everybody, welcome to the show today. Grateful to have you with me. Grateful to be talking to you in rain or shine, wins or losses. I'm still here talking about UNLV basketball and football and all things college sports. Wow, I'm almost speechless as to what we just witnessed at the Thomas and Mack. I'm not actually as angry as I was after that opening night loss to UT Martin. In fact, I would say I was a lot more upset after that opening night loss to UT Martin. More just I'm frustrated, and I'm just like really disappointed. Because, like Daryl says here, this team has a long way to go. Boy, do they. It looks like these players on the roster do not fit. I mean, maybe we can hire Kevin Kruger as a defensive coordinator. Yeah, I mean, this was as bad of an effort as any Kevin Kruger, say what you want about Kevin Kruger's teams. 103 points in the Thomas and Mack is pretty rough. Are you unpinning the Twitter photo of you and Passner? No, I'm not. Look, like, I am trying to support Josh and this program as much as I can. It doesn't mean I'm not going to be honest about it. Josh was absolutely outclassed tonight. I'm from Montana. Seeing the Rebels lose to the Grizzlies is a bummer for me. Yeah. I'm not going to unpin this photo of Josh and I on the profile. I'm going to keep it up most of the year, I think. The reason why is, if you guys remember, I was livid, so upset when we hired Josh Passner. I said I was convinced that hiring Josh Passner was a massive mistake, and guess what? It still might have been a mistake. I mean, I'm not trying to say that. Obviously, after a result like tonight and what's going to happen the rest of this non-conference, people are not going to be super pleased with how the Runnin' Rebels are going to play unless Josh can turn things around in a really improbable manner. But ultimately, it is his first year. I love Runnin' Rebel hoops more than I want to be right about a hire. Obviously, I think UNLV was in a position where they could have hired a guy like Eric Olin, who has the New Mexico Lobos 3-0, a guy that's a proven defensive coach, a guy that hasn't been fired twice by two programs. But ultimately, I want UNLV basketball to be good, and I want to support whoever is at the head coaching position of UNLV basketball until I am convinced fully that they're not capable of getting the program where it needs to be. And 3 games into a non-conference slate where we're 1-2 in what was the easiest stretch of our schedule the entire year, is not going to have it's not going to convince me that this was the right, that this was a bad hire. I mean, listen, man, like, he's going to get a year from me. Josh Passner is going to get a full year of support, and I'm going to be behind him this entire year. And I'm going to try and make sure that he gets the fairest shake that I can give a coach. About a year and a half generally is my belief about a team. And Josh is going to get that from me. Like, I'm going to give him not the benefit of the doubt, but I'm just going to give him a fair shake. And that means that, we knew, honestly, especially with the injuries that this team was going to be dealing with, that the team was going to have some issues in the non-conference slate. But starting out 1-2 is just something you can't do, Josh. I mean, like, listen, man, I want to support you, but you can't be 1-2 to start the season. And the buck stops with him, and he would admit that, and he would take responsibility from it. I did think it was a little interesting. I was listening to the post-game radio show. Josh specifically by name called out Dre Gibbs Lawhorn, Kamani Hamilton. Those two guys were the ones that I remember him talking about the most. Just saying that, the senior leadership wasn't there. He was talking about how he only ever spends all of his time teaching defense and trying to make sure his team was ready to play defense. And tonight, people are going to talk, and I've seen people trying to talk about it, but people are going to talk about the horrific 3-point shooting that took place in this game. UNLV finishes this game. Let me find the stats here. UNLV finishes this game shooting a paltry, looks like 23% from the 3-point line. That's not good enough. UNLV finishes the game shooting 63% from the free throw line. That's not good enough. But the bigger issue is just the defense. I mean, UNLV starts out the game, with about an 85-90% chance of winning, according to KenPom. And these guys were just getting muscled around by this Montana team. They were getting pushed around on the inside, on the outside, everywhere that you can, in every single way that a team can beat another team. This Montana team did it. Now, we were obviously scoring a lot against Montana, but at the same time, Montana was up and kind of just playing keep away from us. And so, if you look at, let me share my screen here with you guys. Yeah, it kind of looks like, I agree with you. It looks like they're playing pickup. I think Dre is great. I'm not happy with Al Green and Laji Dembele. Yeah, I mean, Al Green was really bad tonight. Laji Dembele just can't move, man. Like, I don't know why he's playing on the court if he can't move. Play Walter Brown, play Jacob Benarbi. Laji, he's got a little bit of a stretch. He hit a couple of 3-pointers tonight, but Laji cannot move side to side. And the defense, they're just bringing him up into actions. When teams are going up against us, they're just targeting Laji. Whoever's Laji man is coming up, setting a screen, and they're getting wide open looks time and time again. And Laji just can't stay in front of guys. It's really, and you say Walter Brown's the worst, but he can move. He's played basketball a whole bunch. I don't think Laji's healthy. And I just don't really like it. The zone defense leaves you exposed to give up rebounding. Too many times the players are slow on rotating to the open man. To be honest, this team, to start the season, came out really heavy in that 1-3-1 with that action, and the team just wasn't doing it very well. The team was not playing good zone defense to start the season. And so Josh, which I thought was a smart decision, I still think it's a smart decision, moved to a really heavy man defense, just guarding guys kind of straight up. But the man defense was getting cooked tonight because individual players, whether it be Nas Cunningham, whether it be Dre, whether it be even Kamani at times, they were just getting bullied. They were getting the physicality of the other team was absolutely killing us on the inside. And these guys were just backing us down, and our players, instead of locking their feet and moving one behind them, were letting guys glide through them like tissue paper. I mean, that Montana team just made us look like weak little wimps. Like, they were just going through us. And so, I mean, I'm very disappointed. If you wanted to go to a bright spot, yeah, Williamson's a very good player. He's very helpful to the Rebels. He can score. He's plays with confidence. But, if you want to give it a positive, I thought the only player that you can say tonight played well is Isaac Williamson. And that's because it was his first college game ever, and he looked like he belonged. These days make me miss the Dave Rice days. Yeah, me too. I mean, I grew up on the Dave Rice days. The Dave Rice days are what made me a Running Rebel basketball fan. Kamani, I think coach was disappointed with how Kamani was playing. I don't know if he was hurt. I mean, it does seem like he's a little banged up, but Reb for life, AJ, good to see you. Whoa, zoomed in on my screen there. Hope they turn it around, but they have some serious problems. Cannot stand Dre. Yeah, Dre just was not good. They were bullied, man. They were absolutely bullied tonight. DPB says Dre shot terrible until the game was out of reach. He took bad shots and terrible defense. Yeah, I mean, I thought that everybody was just getting lost on defense. There was not that attention to detail. There was not that focus that you need to play good defense by any of the guys tonight, to be honest with you. Everybody on this team played bad on the defensive side of the ball. The only person that I would say played with the requisite level of intensity was Isaac Williamson. In fact, many of us, I saw Master Rebel said he questioned whether Paul Gunther came into our UNLV defensive sterling mind for the football team was actually on the sideline for UNLV basketball. It really felt like that. I mean, they were not communicating. They were not playing with effort. They were not playing with intensity. And frankly, look, I support Josh. I want him to have a good year this year. I'm not calling for his job, but it's your fault, Josh. It's your fault. And it's really unfortunate that you couldn't get your guys ready to play defense tonight. It's your fault. And it's going to be your responsibility to try and get better play out of them. I mean, I still think this team has a lot of talent on it. I still think Dre is a good player. I still think Tyron Jones has a lot of potential. I still think Kamani Hamilton is a really good player. But goodness, man, I mean, here's the thing, Noah. Noah says Montana got so many free shots where we had to work for every shot that never works. Montana got those free shots because they had done the work previously. They were moving the ball around, moving our guys around, just absolutely punking us. And their shots were easy because they had done the requisite ball movements. They had played with the requisite attention to detail on the offensive side. And that's why their shots ended up being easy. Tyron Jones reminds me of Stacey Augmon. Yeah, Tyron Jones is a good player. I mean, their guard money was really good. Yeah, I mean, listen, man, that Montana team was the 190th ranked KenPom team coming into the year. They had lost kind of a bad game to Stanford by 13. That Montana team was the favorite to win the Big Sky Conference. And if UNLV hadn't lost that horrific, stupid, dumb game to UT Martin and had just lost this Montana game, I think this would be a lot easier to swallow. But this is why you can't lose quad 4 games to open the season to UT Martin by playing dumb. This is why you can't do that. Nas needs to be playing a lot more minutes so he can take over whenever he wants. I agree about Nas, but the thing is, Nas was terrible on the defensive side of the ball for a lot of tonight. He was getting bullied. Guys were just going right through him. And look, like I said this after the game, this game was not UNLV's offense fault. I mean, like UNLV did not need more scoring to win this game. The scoring punch that Nas Cunningham provides, was not the issue here. The issue was that they couldn't defend anybody, and Nas wasn't helping with that. And I'm just like, why? Give Walter Brown a chance. I mean, just like the guys aren't playing well enough, and Howie getting that. Howie's, who was pretty clearly our best defensive player right now, getting into foul trouble, just killed us early in this game. It's hard. It's hard to not. I could throw a dart at the wall and tell you a huge issue that cost us this game super easily because there are so many issues. And the biggest problem for UNLV basketball, Isaac Williamson was literally carrying the team on the defensive end. It's going to be a very rough film session for sure. Absolutely, man. Like, but the thing is, like, you already the reason why this game is frustrating and ticks you off is you already lost your dumb home game. I knew that the Rebels in this first opening 3-game stretch was going to drop a game. In fact, if I had to pick one, I would have said this Montana game. Because Montana's a good team. They were in the NCAA tournament last year. They've had the same coach for 11 years, as a few people have said. Montana's a well-coached team and a good program, and I would not be surprised to see that team as an NCAA tournament team. So the loss in and of itself, it's annoying. It sucks. It sucks that we got scored on with such ease. But the issue is you already dropped your dumb home game. You know, you already lost that stupid UT Martin game. And when you're trying to build a program up, you can't lose games like this. These types of games are exactly what got Kevin Kruger fired. Losing, it does not matter if UNLV goes and beats Alabama. Guess how much that means if you can't stop losing games like this? Zilch. UNLV beat Creighton a couple of years ago when Creighton was number 8 in the country. They killed them. Guess how much that meant for Kevin Kruger? Nothing. Because they can't stop these coaches, man. TJ, Marvin, Kevin, Josh, they can't stop losing bad games at home. How are you supposed to build fan trust when you can't stop losing bad games at home? I'm ranting a bit more than I thought I would. How are people in Las Vegas who have a litany of things that they can go do, how are they supposed to have the trust of their UNLV basketball program that if they come, they're not going to no-show versus a team they've never heard of? Say what you want about Coach Dave Rice. Say what you want about him. He didn't lose games like this at home. Not in the non-conference. In conference play, sometimes he lost it. You know, he had a couple of really terrible losses. But up in, for most of his time as head coach, and listen, his time wasn't good enough as head coach. Even though I liked Dave, if we'd have kept Dave, we probably would have been a better off program than hiring stinking, waddling Marvin Menzies and scumbag TJ Otzelberger and stale Kevin Kruger. But you can't lose games like this, man. I mean, you can't lose games at home. You can't. And if you do, it better rarely happen. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. And when you're trying to win over a fan base, like I I love Josh. I think Josh is a really fun person to talk to. I appreciate so many of the things that he's done to try and build up the program. I think he's recruited guys that are talented enough to get this program to a really respectable place this season. I love the way he talks to fans, including me. I mean, he's willing to talk to me about just about anything. I love a lot of the hires he's made. I think bringing on Justin Hawkins, Anthony Marshall, bringing Stacey Ogman back to the program. He's trying. Josh has all of the right intentions. And I'm not saying he needs to be fired or anything. He's not going to get fired at the end of this season. He's going to get a longer leash. I'm going to support him this entire year. But this game right here, and actually really the UT Martin game was a worse example of this. That's the reason why this program can't grow. Because if people are buying tickets to come and see the Runnin' Rebels play and they're playing some nobody, they can't trust you to take care of business on your home court. And then it's like, we need a crowd to come in and help us. And it's like, you keep losing to Southern, you keep losing to UT Martin, you lose to Loyola Marymount, you lose to this Montana team. And by the way, again, this Montana team was not a bad team. They're a good team. How are people supposed to trust you? And listen, I get that they missed 10 easy points, but they gave up 103 points. If 93 points is not enough points to win the game, because the Rebels scored 93, if that's not enough points to win the game, the problem isn't your offense. The problem is your defense, guys. So, really rough, guys. I mean, let me go up. Let me make sure I'm not missing any. I'm really kind of ticked about this one. And I wasn't that mad, but Ravi, good to see you, Ravi. Williamson debut was great, but it may have confused this team tonight. I don't know about confused. I guess I would say, I guess we'll see. Dre needs to be PG1. Williamson should be his backup. Both can't play on the floor together. I'd probably agree with that. We're probably a little too small with both Dre and Williamson. Took way too long for Tyron Jones to get going. Got to get him the ball early in the game. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Tyron Jones is good at creating his own shot yet. Drake bullied, Green bullied, Nas bullied, Dembele too slow to be bullied. Yeah, I mean, Dre was terrible on defense, I thought, tonight. And I know he scored 26 points, but I thought it was a pretty bad performance from Dre. I thought Logi was 5 steps slow. They need to get more fans in the MAC. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's just, you're not going to get people to come unless you win, unless people feel like they can come and watch you win at home. The road games don't even matter. The neutral site game against Alabama that you might pull off and win because college basketball is crazy doesn't matter unless you're winning unless you're cleaning up all of these games. You have to win your games at home. This game was very offensive. Foul trouble is killing us early in the season, especially with our injuries. Yeah, the guys just aren't playing with discipline. Okay, I want to make sure that I'm not missing any comments, guys. Sometimes they don't all come up. It seems like Tyron is good, but he doesn't have the killer. Yeah, I mean, Tyron's a good player. He's just young, man. I mean, you can't really be too critical of him. You scored 93 points in a college basketball game. That should be a win. I agree. It was not enough. It's not a problem of the offense. It was all about the defense tonight. A couple more comments here. Coy says, third game, new coach, new team. Hopefully they find themselves and identity by conference play. Otherwise, long season. The Players Era tournament is going to be a massacre. 0-3. Yeah, look, I agree that it's going to take a while for them to get going, but I want to put it in perspective for you how difficult this is going to end up being for Coach Pastner. Okay. Because I totally agree. I believed this non-conference would have its fair share of issues. But here we go. All right. So UNLV loses to Tennessee, to UT Martin, who plays tomorrow again against Bradley, I guess. UNLV loses to UT Martin. They beat Chattanooga. They lose to Montana. All right. Their next game is at Memphis. Memphis is projected to win 88-76. Memphis is not a great team, but Memphis is it's probably going to be pretty tough for the Runnin' Rebels to go into Memphis and win that one. Then they play a home game against St. Joe's. St. Joe's is a team that's ranked higher than UNLV is in KenPom. UNLV now is at 123. St. Joe's is 115, 115. UNLV could win that game. KenPom has it as a 59% chance of winning. But that's not going to be an easy game. Then we go to the Players Era tournament. UNLV is playing Maryland and Alabama, two teams that absolutely are going to be favored by double digits plus, maybe in Alabama's case, maybe by 20. UNLV, and then they play another game against a really good team in the Players Era tournament that doesn't appear here yet. That's 3 games, and it's going to be really tough for the Rebels to win any of them. Then they play at Stanford, a team that beat this Montana team 91-68. This Montana team that kicked our butts tonight got beat by that Stanford team. Then they get a couple of easier games. They play Tennessee, Fresno State, and La Sierra. Fresno State's not projected to be very good this year. Tennessee State, not a great team, and La Sierra is not a D1 team. Before they go into conference play, I totally think that by the time, if coach can do this right, by the time they get to conference play, they can turn into a competent team and they can be competitive in the Mountain West. However, if you're a team that's 3-9, or sorry, like 3-8 or 2-9 heading into conference play, how much confidence do your guys get to play with? You know, how much confidence can your guys play with if they've just been getting their butts kicked game after game in the non-conference? How's the Thomas and Mack going to be for that home game versus Fresno State on Saturday, December 20th, when the Running Rebels, if they play like tonight, will certainly be 2-8? Look, where are the Rebels going to win games at? Because if they play like they played tonight, the Rebels are going to be a terrible team. They're going to be a bottom level team. And then by the time they get to conference play, when they're supposed to finally turn it around, when you could get a guy like Emmanuel Steffens back, they could be 2-10 or they do 2-9 or 3-8 or whatever. And by then, a team's confidence, if they start that rough, can be shot. And you get into Mountain Crest Conference play. And if you think that Montana is going to bully you, if you think Montana bullied you and they scored a bunch, what is San Diego State going to do to you? If Montana can bully you and make it look like Montana's playing on rookie mode on NBA 2K, what is San Diego State going to do to you? And so, you know, it's tough. And I'm discouraged and I'm upset, and I'm going to continue to cover the team. Obviously, I'm going to continue to watch. I'm going to continue to be at every single game. I'd love for you to, if you go to games, I'd love for you to shoot me a message and talk to me. But I'm worried about the trajectory of this team. I'm worried about the trajectory of this team. And frankly, while I want to give Josh as long of a leash as possible, and I'm not calling for his job again, going 1-2 to open your 3-game home strand in what is probably your easiest portion of your schedule, the easiest portion of your schedule, you went 1-2. And that 3-game stretch, you're not going to get a more favorable 3-game stretch all year, except for maybe that stretch in December when we play La Sierra, Tennessee State, and Fresno State. That stretch probably is easier than this one, actually. But good luck, man. Then you're trying to restart Running Rebel basketball, having an awful season in your first year as coach. And that's just not easy to do, man. Like, Josh has his work cut out for him. He really does. And I have faith that he can do it. I'm not going to say I have confidence that he can do it, because I honestly, seeing how the guys played tonight, I don't feel confident, but I have faith, and I'm going to be there. I'm going to support him. I'm going to be behind him. I still like a lot of guys on this team, but it's hard not to be discouraged. Hard not to be discouraged. And here's the thing, guys. This UNLV roster last season, this UNLV roster this season has more money behind it than the roster did last year. There's more money being given to players this year than there was last season. And so I don't think this is an issue with the roster. The roster's fine. Sure, they're dealing with injuries. Sure, I wish they had more scholarships so they could have gotten another big man. Sure, I want Eric Harper to be fully behind basketball, and I don't think he is. I think he's just trying to skate by with basketball and keep it from being an embarrassment. But this is not a roster issue. Plain and simple. Passner didn't have his guys ready to play. Didn't have them ready to play opening night. Didn't have them ready to play tonight. Doesn't mean he's going to be a bad coach. Doesn't mean he's going to get fired. But he didn't have them ready to play. And that's really discouraging. For a guy that I like, and the guy that I'm rooting for, and a guy that I'm not calling for his job or anything. I'm going to give him a full season. But that's pretty discouraging. So, guys, the Mountain West isn't having a great season this year so far. I think Boise State is going to be fine. I mean, that opening night loss is still going to haunt them. New Mexico looks fine. It's really tough to see Eric Olin, a guy who can just coach a defense like nobody's business, who could have been our head coach at UNLV, doing really well. Kind of ticks me off. Utah State's pretty good. San Diego State's pretty good. I think Colorado State could be pretty good. But NMU playing okay. Yeah, I'm just worried, guys. I'm worried about this team. I'm worried about this program. I really am discouraged. I'm discouraged. And I'm going to talk to Josh about it. I'm going to let you guys know what he says. I'm gonna ask Josh what he thinks. So, guys, that's all I have for tonight. I hope you guys have a good night. I'm obviously going to continue to cover UNLV basketball all year, UNLV football all year. Not going anywhere. I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a wonderful night, and let's run.